Hello. In this video, we are going to discuss the ICSE English Language Paper 1, Specimen Paper 2019. You can find this on the www.cisce.org website, and I'll also show it to you in this video. So I'm going to discuss all the 5 questions. Your English language paper has like 5 questions, and we're going to discuss all these 5 questions. I'm going to make a separate video on each of these 5 questions. So this is video number 1. And in this video, I'm going to give you a general overview of the entire paper. Plus, we're going to discuss question number 1 in detail. So I would recommend that you attempt the question paper, at least part 1, before you watch this video so that you can get feedback on what you've done. I mean, you can give yourself feedback after watching this video. All right, so a few important things to remember. This question paper comprises 5 questions. I've already told you that. You get 2 hours to complete the paper, and you have 15 minutes reading time. During these 15 minutes, you're not allowed to write, but you can think. Right, so I'm going to start with a general overview of the entire paper. So question number 1 is composition. Question number 2 is letter writing. You will be asked to choose between a formal letter and an informal letter. Question 3 is based on notices and emails. Question number 4 is comprehension. Question number 5 is based on grammar. And I've just jotted down a few important things, a few important items of grammar. Verb forms, that is the tenses, prepositions, conjunctions, direct and indirect speech, active and passive, and of course, transformation of sentences. There are more grammar items that you need to do, but these are the most important ones. So this was the general overview of the paper. 5 questions, remember that, in 2 hours. So manage your time well. So question number 1 is composition. Now, to understand what is a composition, some people get confused between compositions, essays, stories. What's the difference? Now, composition is creative work. It could be a piece of art, it could be a piece of music, and it could also be a piece of writing. So it's like composing, when you get all different ideas or elements and you combine them in a creative way to create or to bring forward a piece of art, a piece of music, or a piece of writing. So in your English language paper 1, it's obviously about writing. It's not about art or music, but it's about writing. So when you combine these different ideas of yours, in a creative way for your reader, in this case, your examiner, all right, to produce a piece of writing. So that's composition. And under composition, you could have a story, you could have an essay, you could have a narrative, an account, even letters, poems, etc. They're all compositions. All right. The council advises you to spend 30 minutes on a composition, 30 minutes out of those 2 hours. But don't forget, you have 15 minutes reading time. I would advise you to use those 15 minutes well. And you could use at least 10 minutes of those 15 minutes to plan, select your essay topic, plan and brainstorm ideas. All right. So in your paper, English language paper, you have question 1 is composition, and you're normally given 5 topics. I'm going to start sharing my screen so that we can see the paper. So I think you'll be able to see it here. Yes. So here we are. Let's have a look at these topics. Just enlarge the screen here. Yeah. So you said don't spend more than 30 minutes on this question. Let's have a look at a few important things about question 1. Remember, you are asked to write between 300 to 350 words. As I said, that you'll have 15 minutes to read the question paper. You could use 5 to 6 minutes to read the question paper, just a quick look, but spend at least 10 minutes of this reading time to plan, to select your topic, plan and brainstorm ideas. So let's have a look at the first topic. I would advise you to go through all the topics first, and whichever one clicks with you, do that topic, select that topic. Now, question A is write an original story entitled Lost and Found. Let's think, what do we need to do? We need to write a short story. The first one is a short story. B, democracy cannot survive without education. Express your views either for or against this statement. This is an argumentative essay, all right? Then C is, you're a regular traveler in your school bus. Describe what you see on your way home from school each afternoon. Give details of the familiar sights and sounds you experience each day. This is a descriptive essay. Then you have, imagine that you have changed your school recently. Narrate your experiences on your first day in the new school. How did you feel at the end of the day? So this is a narrative. You're going to narrate your experiences on the first day of the school. So this is a narrative composition or narrative essay, you could say. And then E is study the picture given below and write a short story. So it could be a short story, it could be a descriptive essay, it could be a narrative of what the picture suggests to you. Your composition may be about the subject of the picture. That is, you can see this girl, she's breaking down the stone into small pieces. It could be about this girl, or you could take suggestions from it. All right, so this is like, you could choose to be creative and compose something of your own thinking, of your own imagination. So it could be a short story, it could be an essay, it could be an article, whatever you please. All right, now there are a few things to remember before you select a topic. Number one, you should know what you are writing. If you're good at writing short stories, I would say select A or select E. You could write a short story. All right. If you're good at essays, then select B. If you're good at describing things or narrating things, select C or D. So it depends on what you really like. All right. So once you've selected your topic, remember, you should know what is this type of writing. If you selected a short story, you should know what is the structure of a short story. What are the elements of a short story? What's the content that needs to be there? All right, think about your organization. Remember the high five, these 5 paragraphs. I've explained this in my previous video, that organization of 5 paragraphs should be there. Think about the level of formality, that is the register. Are you supposed to be formal in your writing, informal in your writing? I would be like formal in B, because it's an argumentative kind of essay. So I would be formal, I would use formal language, but I would use informal language in, let's say, in D, narrate your experiences on your first day in the new school, because probably my own classmates would like to read this. So I don't really need to be formal with them, right? So think whether the reader would like it or not. And then you have to think about your vocabulary and your grammar. So 4 things: your content, the structure and the elements, the organization and layout of your writing, high 5. Number 3, the register, level of formality, and whether your readers are going to like it. Are you really completing the task? Are you really reaching out to your reader? And number 4, your vocabulary and your grammar. So I've made a list of questions that you could use. So I don't know if you can see this, but okay, I'll just read the questions out. So pay attention. So ask yourself, have I answered the question? Okay, so see what the question asks you. Have I answered? Have I done what I was asked to do? So I would select, say, for example, I would select C. So you are a regular traveler in your school bus. Describe what you see on your way home from school each afternoon. So each afternoon, what do you see on your way home from school? Not the other way around, not from home to school, but from school, from school to home. That's what you have to describe. So Read the question carefully. Give details of the familiar sights and sounds you experience each day. So focus on that, all right? Then, is my writing appropriate for the task? I probably would not be, I would be semi-formal or informal. I would not use words like cool and gonna and watcha. No, I would not use these words, but I would also not use very formal language. Have I written something relevant? So I've described what I see when I'm on my way home, right? So that's what the question is asking you to do. Please don't go and describe your favorite dish or your best friend. That's not what the task is asking you to do. Have I put my writing together well? Is it logical? So make sure that there's a flow in your paragraphs. And the last question is there a good range of vocabulary and grammar? And have I used them correctly? Have I used them accurately? So don't just stuff in words just because they sound good. And grammar, check your spelling, grammar, punctuation before submitting your papers. All right. So keep these things in mind. Your content, your register, and your relevancy. Keep your organization in mind, the layout, the high five, and your vocabulary and your grammar. All right. I'll put everything in the description box so you can see it from there. So make sure that you select your topic well. Brainstorm ideas is the next thing. See whether you have sufficient ideas for these 5 paragraphs. Organize your ideas, see which ideas you'll put in which paragraph. Paragraph number 1 is always introduction. Paragraph number 5 is always conclusion. The rest of the ideas fill in your paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. So make sure you know how to organize your ideas in such a way that it becomes interesting for the reader. Now, finally, the final tips that I want to give you is manage your time well, right? So make sure that you don't take more than 30, at least 30, don't take more than 40 minutes in any case, because you need time for the other questions as well. So make sure you're managing your time. Number 2, I've seen students, counting the number of words one by one. Please don't do that. You know what kind of handwriting you have. Large handwriting, or you write really teeny weeny. So just see on an average how many words fit in a line. Depends on your handwriting. And then the paper that you get, the sheet, your answer sheet, just check how many lines per page. And then you have an approximate idea as to how many pages you need to actually write. Right? So you just have a general idea. You don't need to count word for word. You'll be wasting your time. So don't do that. And besides, if you stop writing and then start counting your words, you'll lose the chain of thoughts. So don't do that, right? Just know, okay, I have to write this much and that's it. And of course, you need to practice. So practice, practice, practice. If you have any questions, you can always email me. I'll put my email in the description box, right? And also in one of my later videos, I'll be writing down all these compositions and I'll share them with you. If you need a copy of them, just email me. All the best and good luck.